Aravosis here at the Aravosis Report, pulling up your comments. Where's this chat? Now I'm trying to find the chat. Where's the chat hiding from me? Hang on. Every day's a new joy with this. Stats, docs, chat. There it is. There you are. All right. It should be pulling you up for me shortly. Hello, all. Well, we don't have to worry about pulling up TikTok today. I'm still banned through tomorrow night, so Wednesday will be our first day back with our communist overlords. There you are. Hello, everybody. How are we all today? Just us girls today. So, and hoping it's not slow. Well, let's see if it catches up again today. I don't know. I still may have to have somebody look at my settings to see if it's going too slow or too fast or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how this works. Now would be a good time to insert ads? No. Go away. Go away. There we go. Oh, let YouTube insert ads for you. I thought we already did that. I'm pretty sure we already did that. Okay, whatever. Anyway, hello all. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, Wendy. Anyway, so how are we guys doing? Monday, March 18th. So the cherry blossoms officially took off in Washington scarily early. We have this sort of beautiful number of Japanese cherry blossoms in town. And they've been, because the weather, the weather's been very warm this winter in D.C., but also for the last 80 years or whatever, they've been going earlier and earlier every time. It's doing it again. Okay. I'm going to have to ask somebody. All right. Once we finish the show, I'm going to ask, I keep forgetting to ask Jedi his help on this. I'm going to grab this really quick. I'm getting another error saying the video isn't enough or something. So I'll, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab this for him. Hello. La, la, la. There we go. And then if I can find the stats, there we go. All right. I'll grab the stats from the bottom. And this way I can show somebody who knows much more than I to see what is going on with this. There's nothing I can do during the show because this is way over my head, the frame rates and all of that. But it's being a little weird. Well, let's see what happens, guys. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just being funky today. It was being funky the other day, too. It usually does catch up, though. So hopefully it'll catch up. But yeah, I'm not sure. Could be my CPU, too. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to be looking, like we said, at getting a new laptop soon. Oh, by the way, you're going to laugh. So Friday night, we all sat around and we're talking about laptop computers. And we spent half an hour, 45 minutes going through, at the very end of the show, going through the perfect optimization for laptops. Well, you helped my nephew who was looking to buy a new computer, and he bought one on Saturday with your advice. So thank you all. That was very cute and helpful of you all. But it was very cute. He called, he goes, your people were great. I'm getting a new laptop. I was getting one anyway, and they told me exactly what to get. So anyway, so the cherry blossoms, though, really beautiful here in D.C. They're coming earlier and earlier every year. They have been for the last 80 years. And anyway, it's great now. It's great. So they're already blossoming. Once TikTok lets me free of the gulag, or whatever the gulag's called in China, I may go and try to broadcast live from the cherry blossoms. We'll see. It's very pretty. It's just a bit of a zoo in a crazy, way too many tourists that you want to kill yourself kind of way. So let's see. I'm not 100% convinced. I've done it before with Damien, and it's just a little bit of a zoo. But it could be fun and pretty to broadcast live from there and do a little live. And let's see if the communist Chinese hate the Japanese cherry blossoms, so who knows. TikTok restores my account Tuesday night at 10:50 p.m. at night. So I'll be going live again Wednesday, and let's wait to see once again when their ridiculous moderation system decides that they need to ban American political news again. Yes, Putin won the election. Surprise. Well, he didn't win the election, of course. Putin claimed he won the election. Let's just get rolling then. So welcome, guys. I am John Aravosis. This is my show. This is my nightly report I do Monday to Friday, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, U.S., talking about the latest news from Ukraine. Normally we broadcast on TikTok too, but, well, I'm in the Chinese communist gulag until Wednesday, so I'm not allowed to broadcast live. because apparently U.S. election news or covering Ukraine is a little too much for our overlords. In any case, so we're covering Ukraine here with you guys, so thank you for that. As I mentioned on Friday, I would very much appreciate your guys' gifts because I get probably 80% of my income from TikTok, so when they play games like this, it is very damaging. And frankly, I think they know that, and I think that's part of the idea. They ban you, they don't tell you why, and it's supposed to make you censor yourself later on because you don't even know why. And if you don't know why, then every word you're careful with, which is exactly what those kind of governments do. So whatever. Wednesday night is the first time I am back on live on TikTok. All right, let's get rolling. So today is day 751. Thank you, John Martin. And yes, Jens, like I said, did hear about Putin. We're going to talk about that first. Today is day 751 of Vladimir Putin's special 3-day military operation in Ukraine. I got to show you something. So Vlad posted on our Discord community a photo. I got to grab it here. Thank you, Frank from New Zealand, a place that I still have not visited and am dying to visit. Just watching some videos like yesterday about that. My mic is on the right setting. I don't want to screw with the mic anymore. The mic is on the right setting, so I don't want to mess with that because it's definitely on the right setting. Everybody else, see, how's the mic for everybody else? Because it's definitely on the right setting. I just want to see really quick. Just let me know, guys, how the mic is sounding. But yeah, I'll be back on TikTok on Wednesday. All right. Actually, Marie, there's no way to know what. I checked into it, and TikTok will not tell me what I did wrong. They will not tell me what I said wrong. They won't even tell me what rule I actually violated. The rules that I was told I violated aren't the real rules I violated, I found out. So quite literally, they will censor you for any reason. They will not tell you why, and they won't even tell you what rule you broke, which, like I said, is kind of a beautiful thing for a communist dictatorship to do because it's exactly the thing I would do if I ran a communist dictatorship and I wanted to shut people up. You take away their money and you don't tell them why. So then they have to second guess everything they say. In any case, Vlad posted this picture, very nice, of the Ukrainian troops receiving the 2 batteries that we bought them. Remember the big fundraiser we did? A little out of focus because it's hard to focus this thing. But those are the 2 boxes of batteries in the back of the vehicle. And those are the $2,500 worth for 2 of them that you guys pitched in and bought them. So thank you for that. That was very nice of you. He's going to get more video and other stuff from them, but I wanted to initially at least show the photo to show you guys it was real, obviously. It was real, but, you know, people like to have proof, so there you go. Vladimir Putin, speaking of real and not real, Vladimir Putin was reelected president of Russia with 87% of the vote. Yay! Total fraud, of course. The Russian elections are fraud. Nobody takes them. I mean, quite literally, the Russian elections are fraudulent. They're not free and fair elections. Russian election monitoring group said it was the most corrupt election in Russia's history. Non-governmental group Golos said the results were not legitimate as the campaign took place in a situation where the fundamental articles of the Russian constitution guaranteeing political rights and freedoms were essentially not in effect. Never before have we seen a presidential campaign that fell so far short of constitutional standards. Sky News also spoke with a Russian expert at the Royal United Service Institute who said, and this was very interesting, some sources suggest Putin secured around 55% of the domestic vote, not 87%, and lost by wide margins the foreign vote, basically meaning Russians abroad are able to vote, of course. It's like any of us, you've got your passport, and that he lost that vote by like 80 or 90%. Still kind of disturbing, actually, if Putin got 55% of the domestic vote. This is why I always say, you know, I don't listen to people who say the Russians aren't to blame. They voted for the guy. And it's very much like us and Trump. It's not like Trump. I mean, Trump's a wannabe dictator, but guess what? People are voting for him. People support him. So, you know, if Trump does bad things, it's the only reason Trump has power is because American voters and, frankly, the leadership of the Republican Party, actually every Republican official supports him, right? Wouldn't have power if they didn't support him. Same thing like Russia. In the end, the Russian people support Putin. At least far too many of them do. I did a quick little look at what other dictators have done for their elections, just because I thought it'd be kind of fun. Assad in Syria in 2021 claimed 95% of the vote supporting him. Saddam Hussein in 2002 claimed 100% of the vote. This one's my personal favorite just because I can't stand this guy. Ceausescu in Romania, who was the Soviet-installed, basically, dictator of Romania back in 1989, claimed 98.8% of voters wanted him to remain in power. The irony with that isn't just that it's 98.8%. The irony is that, 98.8% of Romanian voters wanted Ceausescu to stay in power in 1989. A few months later, they shot him and his wife in the head, and they were no longer the leaders of Romania because Romania had its revolution that overthrew the communist dictatorship on December 25th of 1989. So that vote is particularly funny that 98% of the country said, oh, let's keep him. And then they all shot him later, a few months later. What are we going to say? And then finally Kim Jong-un in North Korea won 100% of the vote with 99.9% of North Koreans voting. Yay! Anyway, all right, let's go on with the war. And as I said, please do keep the gifts coming, guys. Remember, I will always, for the Super Chat questions, I will always get to those first. I mean, I try to get to questions later on anyway, of course, but for Super Chats, as a thank you, I will get to those as the next thing I talk about. Also, just be reminded, and I think I'm going to keep pushing this more and more now, for anybody who's on TikTok, honestly, it's probably better for you to support me here. I mean, gifts on TikTok are fine, but to be honest, TikTok takes 50% of gifts. They take probably 65% of subscriptions. It's really ridiculous. And as we now know, they ban people left and right for no reason, especially Ukraine creators. Way better to support me on here probably, especially if you're going to do a subscription. Love the subscriptions. By the way, I see Tom Clark. I see Marie. I just want to see anybody else is joining us today. Bjorn, Chris. Anybody else? Just scrolling to see Andy, of our monthly subscribers. Thank you guys. Carly, appreciate all of you. Lori. Okay, so I didn't want to miss some of you guys. That's why if I scroll back far enough, I get most of you. And Anne, and I think Anne, that's the most I can get right now. Those are our monthly subscribers. If you would consider being a monthly subscriber, I'd appreciate it because it gives me a little more secure income because it's like $7.99 each. Oh, you can pay more, of course, but the lowest level, $7.99 a month. But what's nice is YouTube only takes 30%, which, I mean, it's better than TikTok's 60% or whatever they take, which is ridiculous. So anyway, just keep it in mind if you can. Mods can tell you how, but I think you hit the $ at the bottom of the screen or something, and you can subscribe there. In any case, I appreciate your support. Buffer zone. So Putin said today that the only way to protect Russia, actually, he might have said this yesterday and the Kremlin repeated it today, that the only way to protect Russian territory in Ukraine, Russian meaning Ukrainian territory that the Russians have stolen, from Ukrainian attacks would be to create a buffer zone in Ukraine. And what he's talking about is, and he expanded on it again today, Putin is saying that they need to basically take more Ukrainian land. Thank you, Alethea. Appreciate that. That's Greek. I don't know if you know this. Your name is Greek. Alethea is truth in Greek. Just so you know. Thank you very much for that, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Putin is now saying, I mean, I swear to God, this is literally Germans in World War II talk. Absolutely, positively. They need a buffer zone in Ukraine now. And they're talking about stealing enough extra land in Ukraine. So like they've got this territory that they've annexed. So they're claiming this part of Ukraine is Russia. They're now saying they've got to grab enough extra land so that the Ukrainians won't even be able to hit the Ukrainian territory the Russians are occupying. Now, and they said with Western weapons, which means, well, they said with Western weapons, which I think is more than a wall. Who is that? Maria, I think it's more than a wall. Thank you, Betty, very much for becoming a subscriber as well. You guys are very sweet. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It sounds like he's saying we need another 100 to 300 miles of land that we're going to take to create a dead zone. Also, what Putin's doing, he's telling NATO that Germans, if you give the Ukrainians longer range missiles, Americans, if you give them longer range missiles, we're just going to take more land in order to stop those missiles from hitting Russian territory. So it's also a cute little way of Putin kind of threatening us, saying, don't give the Ukrainians better weapons. Anyway, what else we got here? Attacks continued in Belgorod this weekend. So we don't really have much on this other than the attacks seem to keep going. Belgorod is a Russian region right here. It's also a city right across from Kharkiv, Ukraine. And here and then the Kursk region next door are the regions where this, the Russian Legion and the Siberian, whatever they are, 3 different groups of basically Russian, Russian bad guys. Some of them are not very nice people. Some of them are far-right nationalists in a very bad way. But nonetheless, enemy's enemy is my friend kind of situation for the Ukrainians. These are groups of Russians invading Russia and trying to cause Putin trouble. And there were a lot of attacks this weekend. Not clear at all kind of what happened or what the situation is. To be honest, I'm not going to trust the Russians. The Russians have, talking about who got killed and this kind of stuff. Zero reason to believe anything Russia says, so I'm not going to quote them as giving you any kind of feedback on how the attacks are going. Senator Lindsey Graham. So a very important United States senator, Republican, visited Kyiv today. Lindsey Graham, he's a big friend of Donald Trump. He was a big enemy of Donald Trump. And then once Trump got the nomination in 2016, Graham became the biggest supporter ever of Donald Trump. He was in Kyiv today. This may be the 5th time. Thank you, Carl. This may be the 5th time or so that Graham has visited Ukraine. He's a huge supporter of Ukraine, but he's also a huge supporter of Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is a huge supporter of Moscow, huge supporter of Putin, and wants to kill all aid to Ukraine because Donald Trump, sorry, guys, my nose is itching, because Donald Trump does Putin's bidding. We don't know why, but he just does, right? Therefore, look, it's important. It's important that Lindsey Graham go to Kyiv. Trump goes to Moscow, to Kyiv. He is a big supporter of Ukraine. So the more he goes, the more he goes, the closer the ties he gets with Zelensky and everybody else in Ukraine, right? You go there, you meet people, you become friendly, you care more. That increases the chances of him pushing Trump even harder on this. The problem is, like we said, Trump is just an idiot on this stuff. Trump does Putin's bidding. So I kind of fault Graham at the same time because he was talking to the Ukrainians about, we'll be there for you and all this kind of crazy stuff. Well, Lindsey Graham is literally supporting the man for president who is the very reason Ukraine isn't getting weapons right now from the Americans. They're not getting anything from the Americans because of Lindsey Graham and because of Donald Trump. So it just kind of annoys me a little, but at the same time, the guy's helpful because he is a Republican close to Trump who is supporting Ukraine. So there's that. Let me read this here. Oh, actually, his comments today were interesting. Thank you, Carly. Cute little swivel thing, swivel hippo, I'm guessing. Thank you for that. He did say that if Putin is not stopped now, there will be a war between Russia and NATO. That's interesting. That's interesting. Having said that, Lindsey Graham needs to be a little more vocal with Donald Trump and with everybody else if he actually believes that NATO and Russia are going to war if we lose Ukraine. That basically, and by the way, we're going to war because the Russians will launch a war on the rest of us if they take Ukraine. I think there's a great risk of that. And if Graham thinks that, he ought to be doing a hell of a lot more than just occasionally going to Ukraine and going, oh yeah, I support Ukraine, but I support Donald Trump who doesn't support Ukraine. Do something about it at this point. European Union foreign ministers finally agreed to allocate an additional 5 billion euros or $5.5 billion to Ukraine in defense assistance this year. Transnistria. So there's a weird story with Transnistria today. And to me, it sounds like the Russians are playing games. So basically, you've got Moldova. I'm trying to look. Yeah, Moldova, more or less country right here, okay, next to Ukraine. Not part of the EU, wants to be part of the EU, not part of NATO, was part of the Soviet Union along with the Ukrainians. You've got a sliver of land in Moldova that the Russians occupy called Transnistria. Thank you, Marty. Appreciate the gift. Called Transnistria. And this is an area that the Russians have been occupying and making some noise about possibly even annexing at some point, taking it as theirs, okay? Well, this weekend, there was a claim, and it's very weird, by the, Transnistrian side of things, meaning the pro-Russian, group, claiming that the Ukrainians invaded with drones and attacked a helicopter. I mean, it's really weird, like a helicopter that was sitting on the ground. And the Ukrainians deny it. The Moldovan government denies it. This totally sounds like the Russians are playing games. Now, this could very easily be a Russian excuse to invade. It is more likely a Russian, beginnings of a Russian excuse to invade. What I mean is, the Russians won't use this one attack to invade tomorrow, but they're building a case over time to say that and I think they claim hundreds of thousands of Russian citizens or something. Basically, they hand out passports to anybody who's got Russian blood in them, and they hand out passports, and then they go, aha, you're our citizens. Therefore, we must invade to protect our citizens, and it gives them an excuse to invade. It's the crap they did in Ukraine. They invade because they claim, people's ethnicity is Russian, so they can just invade. Just like it's like me, my ethnicity being Greek, so Greece can invade. Same idea, right? Well, it certainly looks like Russia, because we know in the last month or two, Russia has been sort of building a false flag. Did I not use the word? I meant to. Thank you, Blue Ariel. It's a false flag, probably, which means it's something that the Russians do, but then try to make it look like Ukraine did it, right? So, in other words, the Russians probably blew up the helicopter themselves, but they're trying to build a case slowly or quickly that all of these Russian nationals are in danger in Transnistria, and only Russia can save them by invading and stealing the land and making it part of Mother Russia. Now, not the easiest thing for the Russians to invade. They have some troops there, but it's like, I think, 1,500 troops. It's not a huge number, but not easy to invade because Transnistria is more or less around here, okay? The problem is Russian troops are here, right? Ukraine troops are here. How are the Russians going to get more troops here? They could try to fly, but I'm going to guess Ukrainian, will probably shoot down the Russian planes. They can't go by land because, that's land that the Ukrainians are still holding quite effectively. So hard to say because it is landlocked, but nonetheless, Russia could also simply just declare it. They could just say, it is now ours, because what are you going to do? Is Moldova going to invade? Right? Moldova's small. It's got a next to nothing military. Honestly, at this point, Transnistria is tough, but I think at this point, at the very least, there ought to be NATO troops I don't think there's NATO troops in Moldova. Are there? Actually, that's a good question, folks. Are there any NATO troops in Moldova? Because obviously Moldova is not part of NATO, but any kind of peacekeeping or friendship base or anything like that. I wonder, because if I were Moldova, I would start getting more and more worried about what Russia's doing. They are worried, but I would start thinking of, okay, what didn't we do in Ukraine, and what should we do here to avoid another Ukraine, which would be putting some NATO troops on the ground to make sure people don't come in. The Russians don't come in. Oh, God, it's a long story, Paul. Paul asked, how did Russian troops get there to begin with? It's a long story going back like 30 years, and frankly, confusing as hell. I've read this several times, and it still confuses the hell out of me whenever I read it. You can Google it. It's all there, but it goes back to the fall of the Soviet Union 30 years ago and complicated as hell. And then there was a ceasefire, and the Russians are, helping keep the peace. They're peacekeeper troops, but of course they're Russian peacekeeping troops, which mean they're really there to eventually take the country over, right? We know there's Russian troops, Stephen. That I know. Yeah, I just wasn't sure if any NATO countries have troops like Romanian troops. They really ought to put Romanian troops there. And frankly, Romania ought to unify with Moldova anyway at this point. For Moldova's sake, for Romania's sake, that's much more complicated, I'm sure. Wall Street Journal. So the Wall Street Journal did a interesting piece today, sort of updating on the Czech initiative to get artillery shells for Ukraine. You may recall the Czech Republic has found around 800,000 artillery shells for Ukraine, which is a big deal. About 300,000. They've raised money for 300,000. This is confirming what I thought, by the way, that we really don't have the money yet. They found 800,000 around the world they can buy. They've raised money from other European countries to buy 300,000 of those shells. Some of those shells will be arriving in the next few weeks. They need to raise money for the rest of, 500,000 more shells. And they've identified another 700,000 shells that could also be secured with extra money. But honestly, they need a hell of a lot more money because that gets you to 1.5 million shells, and they've only got enough money for 300,000 so far. That's not good. I mean, this is something that, I would hope European countries could pony up a bit more. I mean, the U.S. is ponying up nothing because we suck at this point, but that's because Republicans in Congress, MAGA Republicans, have killed all American aid. But still, if Europeans could step up, it would be good. Czech officials say that around 3 billion euros or $3.3 billion would secure the 1.5 million shells. So they now have put a price on the total. So $3.3 billion would be oh my God, I'm tired. 1.65. Yeah. $1.65 billion to buy the 800,000 shells, which was around the estimate we were thinking. We were thinking somewhere around $2 billion from what people were saying. This from more from the Wall Street Journal. The Ukrainian forces are so depleted that they now only fire around 2 shells for every 10 Russian shells fired at them, according to Western intelligence. Some military analysts say Ukraine needs up to 200,000 shells of various calibers each month to push back against the renewed Russian onslaught. So obviously very scary stuff. Let me see here. Oh, this was a great quote, though. Finally, there's a great quote from the Czech special envoy, Tomáš Kopečný. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name in Czech, but he's the guy responsible for basically putting this whole deal together, finding all of these shells, being the middleman on buying them and everything. But this is a great quote. Listen, he's talking about the Czech Republic and basically how the article went on. It was very interesting, explaining how because the Czechs are sort of in an interesting middle zone, because they're former Soviet, they were a big arms producer, manufacturer of themselves. They therefore have a lot of relationships with a lot of developing countries. They have a more sort of neutral position in dealing with developing countries than many in the West do. So, the U.S. could be kind of polarizing depending who you talk to in Africa and Latin America. Czech Republic, not as polarizing, right? So they were saying how, they were talking about how actually that became a big advantage for the Czechs being able to get sort of these weapons organized and found and everything else. But listen to this quote from the guy, this Tomáš guy, who's the special envoy in the Czech Republic who organized finding these shells, okay? "We are like hobbits, small and peaceful, but in a moment of crisis, we jump to forge alliances with much more powerful countries and deliver results." I absolutely love that. I think that is the most wonderful, but I love that a Czech government official is comparing the Czechs to hobbits. It is the funniest freaking thing. Absolutely cracks me up. All right. Well, Carly, someday when I make enough to pay the bills, I will turn off the YouTube ads, but sadly, I can't help it. And there's actually unfortunately, YouTube, I wish YouTube had this, but they don't. They don't have a way for me to turn off ads for somebody who becomes a subscriber like you, which I very much appreciate. There's no way for me to turn them off, and I would. But at this point, most months right now, last year I did do a little better than breaking even. Right now, I'm not breaking even at all. In other words, I'm losing money each month doing this. So I don't have a choice. Sorry. Well, I think it may throw in ads. Who knows? It may throw in ads when different people come in different times. And if it freezes for you, just refresh the screen. Just refresh the screen. Well, you could do YouTube Premium, true. I don't get any of that, but that's true. That would sort of fix that. Anyway, sorry about that. Nothing I can do about it, but I am sorry about that. And I do appreciate you being a subscriber, so thank you. But yeah, you could be a YouTube Premium subscriber, but that just means the money goes to YouTube anyway, Yeah, I mean, I don't like ads on YouTube. The thing is, I think because for years I was also writing a political blog, I finally became sort of sensitive to why newspapers have paywalls. I mean, all that kind of stuff. I say sensitive in the sense that everybody wanted newspapers to be free, and then everybody got pissed off when newspapers put up paywalls, And running a blog, I finally appreciated what it's like to be producing content for free for people, and when you try to do it full time rather than a hobby, and then you just don't have any income, And the ads are a total pain in the butt. I can't stand, especially the YouTube ads. I don't mind the 5-second ones. The ones that go 15 seconds drive me nuts. Even worse, 30 seconds. Newspapers will typically do 30 seconds on videos you see on their website, and that drives me crazy because I don't think an ad should ever be 30 seconds. That's like, never, in my book, that's never okay. 15 seconds is annoying, but I can do it. But an ad that's 30, I'm like, forget it. Any case, thank you, Blue Ariel. And thank you guys. I appreciate you kind of holding out for me. Wednesday, I will be starting TikTok again. And that means at least some more money can come in. Because as I told you, most of my money comes from TikTok. I don't like TikTok in many ways. They take a ridiculous share of the proceeds, but TikTok is so big that it still ends up paying the bills, basically, which is helpful. But in any case, if you can help me here with gifts or subscriptions, I very much appreciate it. Thank you. And I will do a quick little thanks again to the subscribers that I can see right now. Chris, I said Carly. Just seeing who else is here. Blue Ariel, Bjorn, Marie. Obviously, I thanked a lot of you guys before, but I'm just looking again briefly. I think, and Alethea, of course, Alethea or Alethea or Alethea. I guess I'm pronouncing it in Greek. I have no idea how to pronounce your name, but I'll do it in Greek. And Tom, okay, I'm going to stop right now scrolling, but thank you guys. I appreciate it. Let me go on. So in terms of where the war stands now, Ukraine is in danger of losing Robotine, or Robotine, I think they pronounce it. I never can get sort of the stress of Ukrainian names. Robotine is a town more or less here. Actually, I'll use my I've got Mom's pointer. Where's Mom's little pointer? Mom gave me a really nice little pointer that, of course, is buried on my desk here. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to find it. I'll point with this. It's a little better. So Robotine is more or less around here. The Russians are in danger of taking it. The concern is, thank you, Blaze. Oh, thank you, Blaze. You subscribed. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. The concern is, if the Russians take Robotine, it's going to give them a chance to potentially move west and cut some of the other area that basically move west and cut some of what the Ukrainians have already liberated in half, which is a bad deal. Michael Clark, who's a big defense expert on Sky News, was saying today, I was watching his video, that if Ukraine gets the weapons they need from the West, they can hold the town. But if they're not getting, basically ammunition, if they don't get the ammunition they need, they're going to lose it. And he said it's going to be directly responsible to, or directly caused by, whether Ukraine does or doesn't get the ammunition they need from the West. So, this is real. I mean, the hardest part is, I think, Europe. I mean, Europe gets it, and Europe has stepped up, but America doesn't. And as I said, President Biden still doesn't talk about this. I mean, as an American living here, following the news religiously, Ukraine doesn't come up that much. Democrats don't talk about it that much. Thank you, Chris. I am convinced that Biden, there's two things going on. One, Biden's worried about his reelection. Let's not even try to do the pronunciation of Robotine, because I got it from Vlad how to pronounce it correctly, and a bunch of you corrected me incorrectly. And then I think I went to Yulia and asked her, and she was like, no, you're right, they're wrong. So I am not going to get into another Robotine or whatever it is fight with you guys. Because last time, I don't know who, you might have been right, Stephen, you might have been correct, but a lot of people were not correct, and they were scolding me about it. So let's not even guess this time. Yeah, so what was I going to say? Yeah, but Biden's still not talking about it. Democrats don't talk about aid to Ukraine. And I think it's twofold. One, it's the American election, because Americans are, kind of on Ukraine now. They kind of feel like that we did what we could. We feel like Ukraine's losing. And the Republicans talk bad about it, and Democrats don't defend it. I mean, there's Biden mentions it. I mean, remember Biden mentions it in the State of the Union. Remember, I've talked about this, by the way, how Biden will talk about stuff every week or two. He mentioned it in the State of the Union last week on Thursday, and that was it, right? I think it was Thursday. Was it Thursday? Was it last week or the week before? I don't even remember now. God. But he mentions it and then says nothing for a week. And then maybe it comes up again as a small little comment and then says nothing. I think it's partially because of the election and he doesn't want to get off topic. Like, he wants to talk about the economy and whatever. I think it is also that he thinks he's going to work out some deal with the Republicans and he doesn't want to demonize them or anger them. And, again, it's not the way I negotiate. I mean, at least politically. I think in politics, you've got to put pressure on people and then you reach deals. I don't think, and Democrats do this a lot. They think, let's not put pressure. Because we might anger the people we're negotiating with. And if you don't put pressure, though, if you're not even arguing on behalf of your cause, then you're not convincing people, right? So that there's literally no democratic message going out there on a regular basis saying Ukraine needs our help. And the fact that we're not helping Ukraine means they're about to lose to Russia. And if they lose to Russia, we could be going to war with Russia. I mean, that is the most important argument. And frankly, the fact that Lindsey Graham said it, because he's not a crazy man. I mean, he's a solid MAGA Republican, but he's not crazy. He knows foreign policy. The fact that he's saying it, Democrats ought to be saying it too. Biden ought to be saying it too. And of course, he's not. Smug Chipmunk coming out of lurkdom. Oh, hey. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you. I do remember that name. I'm like Smug Chipmunk. That name is familiar. All right, a little bit more here. This was a wild story too. So this is the last story I've got, and then we'll just go into Q&A and discussion. So listen to this. The British Defense Secretary was visiting Ukraine like a week or week and a half ago, whenever it was, around the same time that the Greek Prime Minister Mitsotakis was there. And you remember that the Russians, well, whether they tried to kill the Greek Prime Minister or whether they didn't care if they killed the Greek Prime Minister, they blew up a missile, a rocket, like a couple hundred feet or a couple hundred meters away from the Greek Prime Minister and Zelensky. And a lot of people thought it was really irresponsible. The Ukrainians, within a few hours, put out a statement, which clearly NATO had them do. I think the U.S. did it. NATO had them do, saying, oh, the Russians didn't mean it. They weren't trying to hit Zelensky. They weren't trying to hit the Greek Prime Minister. No, no, no. And as soon as I heard that, I went BS, because why would the Ukrainians not blame Russia for almost killing the Greek Prime Minister? I mean, that's a propaganda coup. You talk about it. You talk about how irresponsible, right? How animalistic, how warmongering. I mean, everything about it, right? You talk about it. You don't say, oh, they didn't mean it, which is what Ukraine did. And I guarantee you, Ukraine did it because they were told to by a big NATO power, probably the U.S. Well, now we find out that around the same time, Grant Shapps, who's the UK defense minister, was in Ukraine, I think, at this point. He might have been in Kyiv. Let me see here. He might have been in Kyiv already or in Poland. No, he was in Poland. That's it. He was in Poland getting ready to go to Ukraine, and he was going to go to Odessa in the south, which is where Zelensky and the Greek prime minister were, because of two things. One, they got word that the Russians knew he was coming. And I don't know if it was actually, yes, they were aware of his travel plans. So they knew when he was coming, and they maybe even where he was coming. And because the Russians basically tried to blow up the Greek prime minister, the British defense secretary had to cancel his visit and not come. Now, that's very interesting to me for a couple of reasons. One, if what the Ukrainians said was true, and they weren't coerced by the U.S., which of course they were, if what the Ukrainians said was true, and no, the Russians didn't try to hit the Greek prime minister, it was a total mistake, then there was no danger to the British defense secretary, right? If the Brits decided privately that, and they even said, listen to this, they said that they raised the risk from substantial to critical. I remember I don't know if I grabbed that quote, but I read it. Let me see here. Yes, it raised the threat level to Mr. Shapps' safety from substantial to critical. Okay? So that's the first thing. That tells us that, once again, they did try to kill, or they didn't care if they killed the Greek prime minister, and they certainly got close to hurting him. But secondly, that the Brits are worried that the Russians might try to kill the British defense secretary. I mean, that's how screwed up things are in terms of dealing with Russia, right? That the Brits would be afraid of. I mean, you'd think, like potentially in a normal situation, right? I mean, in a normal situation, you would tell the Russians and you'd say, our defense secretary is coming. He's going to be there on these dates. This is his itinerary. This is where he's going. Don't you dare bomb anything within 5 miles of there, right? Or we're going to bomb you. Like, that would be the normal behavior. In this case, it's the opposite. It's the Russians finding out where he's going and you immediately assume that they're going to try to kill him. I mean, that shows the concern about what's really going on with the Russian mindset. Stephen Marco, thank you for your gift question or comment. Ukraine should offer to post Trump's bond, but only if aid is freed up in Congress. They don't have the money. But it's funny. So Stephen is talking about one of the court cases that Trump is facing. This is the court case in New York regarding fraud, and that Trump gave the banks false information about the value of his properties, and then turned around and gave the government, for tax purposes, basically like gave inflated values to the banks and then deflated values to the government because he wanted to pay less taxes, right? Well, Trump today said he can't come up with the money. In order to appeal, he has to come up with like $450 million or something, or $500 million in order to appeal, and he can't come up with the money, he says. So that's what Stephen is saying. Maybe the Ukrainians should come up with it. The problem is Ukraine doesn't have, I mean, I know you're being funny, but Ukraine doesn't have the money. They wouldn't have the money to do it. Maybe Putin will give him some, you know. And Natalie, thank you as well. Why people in media are talking more about Gaza and not the Ukrainians. Well, okay. There's nobody advocating for the Ukrainians right now. I mean, I've done work as an activist, trying to get the media to cover stories. I have done work as media. I've written stories for The Economist as a freelancer for them. And, reporters cover stories when they're newsworthy, when something's happening that's making news, okay? As an activist, you try to hold protests, for example, to make news. Palestinian protesters or pro-Palestinian protesters did that quite well, right? They held a lot of protests. They threatened Joe Biden. They, called for a boycott of the American elections in Michigan, right? So they took lots of little steps, each of which is newsworthy. What's being done to create news around aid to Ukraine, right? Nothing. I mean, there ought to be, I would argue, or at least devil's advocate, I would argue, where are the protests in America and, frankly, Europe? America, but there ought to be in Europe, America too. And there ought to be large protests saying, we don't want to go to war with Russia, but that's what's going to happen if Republicans keep cutting aid to Ukraine. There ought to be protests, and they ought to be blaming Republicans and blaming Trump for cutting off American aid. They ought to be saying the Russians are coming, that we're going to go to war with Russia because the Republicans decide to play games. And they're jeopardizing our national. But I mean, these are all the talking points that should be put out there. But they're not. So there's, in a way, the media is covering Ukraine. I mean, every day there's updates-ish on CNN, every few hours maybe, right? I mean, the newspapers have updates. But Gaza, I mean, also there was more violence in a shorter period of time, in a more compressed period of time in Gaza. Whether it was the initial Palestinian terrorism, which was horrific, against Israel, or Israel's response, which also, even though I don't trust the numbers, like I said, I'm not going to trust the numbers from Hamas. I'm just not going to quote those. But we know that there is significant damage done to Gaza, right? I mean, the number of buildings that were damaged and everything else. So there are significant injuries and deaths. That is a much more of them have happened in a shorter period of time, right? In Ukraine in 3 months, or 5 months now, there's fewer damage or fewer deaths than you've got in Gaza. I'm willing to bet. So that makes Gaza more newsworthy too. But also you got to make it news. Like I said, Biden's not talking about it. If he's not going to talk about it, it's not going to be news. So what do? You got to make it news. Anyway, I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, I did put up, I've got all the postage done. I will be mailing off the auction items tomorrow. A number of you I was backed up for two sets of auctions, so I apologize, but they'll be going out tomorrow. And I've got a few, let me show you, I've got a few other auction items for this week. I've got about 8. I'm not going to show you 8. Actually, one was, I like these. They're very pretty, but they're little gift bags from the Ukrainian post office. And I got several of these. They're just very pretty, I think. But I've got the, I'll show you the 2 things maybe, 2 or 3. One is the very popular trench art. This is now probably a candle holder with an angel on one side Ukrainian Trident on the other, but it's made from an old Russian, oh God, I've wrote it. It's in the description. It's a BMP, whatever, 30 millimeter artillery, something like that. I'm forgetting what it's called, but it's a really neat, not artillery, but a really neat, I think probably anti-tank, but anti-tank shell that the Ukrainians turned into artwork, and it can be used as a candle holder, which I think is very cool. Couple other things. Hang on. Oops. I'm trying not to ruin this bag. Oh, this is very nice. Now, I don't want to ruin it for Callum because Callum bid on this, but this is Ukrainian military, patch with Velcro on the back. These are neat because this is the most popular patch. These you will see all of the Ukrainian military folks wearing. Everybody has one of these, which is very neat. And I'm not going to go through too much here. The other, let me see. Oops. Yeah, I'll show you one more. We'll show you. Oh, actually, I'll show you two more. What am I doing? Two more. A set of, it's a matchbook refrigerator magnets, but as a matchbook. And the matchbook has the Russian warship Go F Yourself design with the sailor sort of giving the finger to the Moskva, the ship the Ukrainians sank. But it's a very cool matchbook. And finally, hang on, here it is. Finally, the, another part of, this is a nice one actually. This is a piece of a Russian Su-34 fighter bomber that was shot down over Borodyanka in Ukraine. I've got to double check Borodyanka. Is it Eastern Ukraine? I think it is. On March 1st, 2022. We've actually got, I Googled it. There's pictures of the wreckage. I mean, very well documented crash. The pilot and a co-pilot died. But this one's cool. It's 20 inches long, which is 50 centimeters-ish. But it's a neat piece. I like this because it's such a big piece. It's just very cool. And, of course, it'd be nice. It can go in a cabinet. You can put it on a wall. It's just kind of a neat... Anyway, I love this stuff. You know this. All of these pieces of Russian wreckage from Ukraine I think are fascinating. So that is one of the other auction items. So do check it out. And you can check out our auctions at our Discord. It's discord.aravosis.com. You can always go to aravosis.com. Where is it? Down there on the screen. Where I've put the link to my link tree. If you go to aravosis.com, it pulls up all my links, and you will see the link to the Discord there. And I fixed it. The link to the Discord should work now. So you should be able to access that now. Now I'm looking here because the sun is, it's okay. The sun is reflecting in, so it's doing all sorts of weird lighting today. So sorry for that. All right. Thank you, Melissa, for the gift and the flying. I don't even know what that is. It's hard without my glasses. I was going to say flying bird, perhaps. But it's like a super bird. No, it's a super potato. To me, that looks like a potato. I'm going with super potato. Oh, you did send some info. Yeah, you know what's funny? I was at Best Worst Gamers as our resident military expert, who former mechanic and engineer, I want to say, from U.S. military. And let me look here. And I asked him if he knew a little bit more about that piece I just showed you that we're auctioning off from the Russian fighter bomber. And let me see what he said here. Deep. It's a great piece. Most things you may know. This was an internal piece due to the structure and the protective coating on the metal. I'm guessing it's aluminum. It seems very light in your hands. Could be. It's got a little bit of weight, but it's not bad. I mean, some of the other stuff is titanium, so who knows, right? But like you're right though, because this doesn't feel like those little titanium pieces that I've had. But yeah, it's not super heavy though. It's not super heavy. Seems very light. You have a part similar to the one I'm showing in the first photo called a spar. Spar is essentially a strong support, like a support beam or something for the aircraft. Okay. There we go. So it's an internal support piece for the aircraft. I just think it's always kind of fun to, figure out a little bit of what it is. You know what I mean? Thank you for that. Appreciate that. And we've got Marty. Putin today said Russia is planning a buffer sterilization zone at the border. Do you think this may be a start of a plan to use chemical weapons or a small nuke? It's funny you say that. So I mentioned this story earlier because, Putin was talking about, well, first of all, whether it's the border or whether it's the border of the new Russian territories, right? The land that they stole from Ukraine. So, it could be that Russia wants enough of Ukraine so that the Ukrainians can't hit Russia at all, right? Right? Or he could have meant they want enough of Ukraine so the Ukrainians can't hit the quote unquote new Russian territories, the territory that Russia's stolen from Ukraine, which would mean they want to extend they're controlling this right now, they want to extend it to here or something, right? So does it mean extend it to here, or does it mean extend it including here as well? Who knows? It's funny you said that, because when I read like the buffer sterilization zone, it gave me the creeps a little bit. It made me think like he was talking about evicting people and making it a no man's land, kind of a Carthage kind of thing, right? Like whether that would be nukes, whether it be chemical weapons, I don't know. But it did make me wonder about whether this could be a situation of trying to actually destroy the land and make it uninhabitable, Very interesting. Yeah, no, I don't know, but that's interesting you say that. But as we said too, like it could also be all of the Russian border of Ukraine, including the occupied territories, but also going up. And by the way, that means you need 100 to 300 miles, probably 300 miles more land, if supposedly you're trying to make it safe from, and he said a safe distance from NATO weapons, from Western weapons. Well, that means 300 miles at this point. 300 miles is a hell of a lot more of Ukraine that he'd be grabbing, Very weird. Yeah, smug. It's a very weird, it's funny you said that, or the other, who just said that? That Marty said that, because I read that quote and a little bit of me thought, is he going to just destroy everything and create like a dead man zone, right? Rather just a demilitarized zone, but like a dead man's area, And he'd still have to occupy it, because he'd have to stop Ukrainians from coming in there and firing off, or blow off a bunch of nukes to make it uninhabitable, which, again, he's only going to do that if we make it clear nothing's going to happen if he does that. He's not going to do it unless he's afraid. And let me rephrase that. He's not going to do it if he's afraid. If he's concerned about what we're going to do. If he thinks we're not going to respond strongly enough, then, Thank you, Ava. Ava's our famous map maker for the European. I keep afraid one of these days I'm afraid I'm going to like mix you up with one of our other Swedes. But yes, Ava's the wonderful map maker of our Europe map. So thank you, and very, very sweet of you, Ava, to subscribe. Thank you. No, I'm with you. I don't feel like giving him a buffer zone either, but what do you do? We're trying. Anyway, so yes, we're doing our Q&A hangout. So let's talk, let's hang. Any more information on oh my God, this again. Domodidovo. Okay. I'm remembering that word and I'm forgetting what it is. What is it? I'm totally forgetting now. That almost made me think it's one of the airports. What is it, guys? You caught me, Blue Ariel. That's usually Harvey's role, asking me a question, or my friend Marion. I know that name and I'm totally forgetting. You got to remind me. Sorry. World War I style no man's land. Well, now that's true too, right? Just like landmines. I mean, just landmine the hell out of it, No, it's scary. It's very scary. Airport in Moscow. Okay, I thought it was one of the 4 airports. Okay, but I didn't see any news about it. Did something happen in the last day or two with the Ukrainians like going after it with drones or something? I just haven't seen any news about it at all this weekend that I saw. There were like I said, there were a lot of drone attacks or a lot of attacks along the border of Kharkiv, the Russian Legion, etc. There were a lot of Ukrainian attacks over the weekend, more on Russian oil again, on the oil infrastructure. We know that. But I didn't see anything about the airport in Moscow. I did see this, Mike. Yeah, Mike is mentioning Moldovan President Maya Sandu announced that Moldova will hold a referendum this year on joining the EU. I did see that, yeah. So the Moldovan president basically said she's concerned that a future government may try to back off joining the EU. So she wants to hold a referendum on basically putting support for EU. Well, I don't know if the referendum is this or what, but the point of the referendum is to enshrine in the Moldovan constitution support for Moldova joining the EU so that no future government can unravel it. And I don't know whether that's sufficient or not, but Blue Ariel says there was a drone attack very near, if not in the airport. Oh, that's good. I didn't hear that. No. I didn't hear it, though. Did it get any good damage, or do we not know? Yeah, hard to get. I was going to say, because I didn't see, although, you know what I didn't do today? I did not, in the last couple hours, I did not check. Let me check really quick. I follow a lot of, you guys know, the military folks and defense folks on Twitter who often share that stuff first. It's not always verified, so I don't always share it with you guys, but they share a lot of the rumors and videos and things. So an attack on the airport, let me take a quick look here and see. Hang on. Let's see here. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah. The Russians claim congratulations are pouring in from foreign leaders. Most foreign leaders are, in fact, not congratulating Putin for stealing the election. Of course they did. Of course. A Russian, in Russia, masked enforcers with no badges stormed a cafe where a Russian journalist, Antonina Favorskaya, was sitting in, stole her phone, dragged her to a police station. They failed to find a crime, so the court ordered her jailed for 10 days for disobedience. Again, God bless Russia. Let me see. Oh, interesting. Yep. Sorry, I'm just reading about the railway. Putin's restoring a railway as an alternative to the bridge. Membership gifting. I don't even know what that is, Ben. Is that something I can turn on YouTube? Really? Actually, let me make sure I turn the lighting up a little bit here, too. Hang on a second. Little more exposure. Oop, there we go. Sorry about that. Is that something I can do? Membership gifting? I have no knowledge of that. They just cyber disobedience the woman. They just said, yeah, or not cyber, civil disobedience. They just claimed, oh, you're being disobedient, so we're just throwing you in jail. Yeah, I'm not really aware of this membership giving thing with YouTube. Let me look really quick, but I would have thought I would have. Let me look here. YouTube membership. Come on, membership. Gifting. Can you gift members on YouTube? If gift memberships are available for the channel, you can buy a gift membership during a live stream or sign into YouTube. Well, wait a minute. Can I give YouTube? Oh, that's YouTube Premium. I don't want that. Gifting is usually under the $sign. Really? Well, should be in my live settings. I don't think I have live settings. I mean, not I don't have live settings, but hang on. Let me look here just for fun. 1 second. What the hell? I'm looking here. I don't know that I've got it. I may have to also go into YouTube itself because I'm streaming via OBS. So I may have to go and look just to make sure. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, I need to go. I think I need to go and look at YouTube directly. Huh. I'll go look at YouTube directly, but like I said, I'm not convinced of this. Hang on. I'm going to go directly just for fun. Because that would be kind of a fun thing if there were like a gifting thing you could do for others here. But hold on, view your channel. No, I want to go to YouTube Studio. There we go. Hang on, guys. We're going to look here for fun. Earn, I guess. Okay, memberships. Big jump in memberships. Yay! Thank you, guys. Actually, actually, you know what you did? Since TikTok went nuts on me, you guys jumped from total members of 35 to total members 52. That was a nice jump. Thank you for that very much. That was 50%, 53% jump, actually, TikTok tells me. I'm looking here. Yeah, I'm just not sure where it would be is the problem. Yeah. I can try to look after the show, but I just don't know where it would be. It allows a viewer to gift another viewer. That would be great. We can gift you, John, by using it. Now, you can gift me. That's already on. That's already on. You didn't mean that. You mean something else. Oh, it's not letting you. I meant... Yes, correct. What I mean is that you can gift each other memberships. The membership itself is already on, but like I said, I'm looking here. Let me look here. What is insert ad? No, delay ads. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm doing one last look here. I think I may have to Google and see. I'm not seeing any settings or anything for this. I'm seeing no settings at all. Like, there are no, it just says members, yay. Membership offer, okay. Levels, customized perks. No, that's kind of overview maybe. No, there's nothing here, guys. I'll have to see. Maybe there's some thing. No, there's giving, but giving for them means giving to causes, which this is for raising money for registered nonprofits. Yeah. Nope, I'm not seeing it, guys. I don't understand what this is. Sorry. Anyway, don't mean to get off track here, but this would be very helpful if it were true. Customization, that's not going to be. No. Branding, nope. Basic info, nope. All right, I don't know what this is, guys. If anybody has any idea. Now, some people don't get the $, which is interesting. Some people don't get the $, which is very annoying. The $, is how you can subscribe at the bottom, but also how you can do those gifts people do, the super chat questions they throw in, or the super stickers, which are like the fun little emojis and stuff. Somehow people gift memberships to each other. Huh. Yulia's got it. Well, let's text Yulia. Although she's live right now. You know what? Good. Yulia would always text me during her lives. I'm going to text her during my live. Hang on. Let me text Yulia here. One moment. I've always got to see how to spell her name. It's always different. There we go. Okay, hold on. Let's ask her. Hey, I'm in my live and people are telling me, one second here, telling me that you found a way to let your visitors gift each other subscriptions to your live. Find. All right, let's see what she says. All right. But it's funny, because Yulia was like one of my friends who was famous for always texting me in the middle of the live. So I get to text her because I think she does hers around the same time as me. I'm pretty sure. Do you as the creator have to have YouTube Premium? I mean, I'll buy YouTube Premium if I have to for that, if that allows you. Oh, well, this is interesting, Kevin. So TikTok has obviously screwed me on money by killing my lives. On a good night, I'll tell you guys, on a good night, I can pull in $100 on a live. Now, my expenses are around $5,500 a month, $6,000 a month, because I live in Washington with my mortgage and everything else and my insurance. So, I'm not getting rich, but it's like $100 a night on a good night. For a week, that's $700 that they're costing me. That's a lot. You know what I mean? And 20 gives me $2,000 a month, which is great. Again, it's not enough when my bills are $5,500, but that's significant. I have no idea if they're playing games. I have no idea if they're playing games in terms of my other money, because I also get money for the videos I make. And that money's been going down a little, and I've been a little suspicious. Because who knows? They could cut off your lives and say, oh, you're a dangerous channel. Your advertising shouldn't be, we shouldn't give you as much advertising, or we shouldn't charge as much, or something, or some BS like that. So, but yes, as folks are describing in the comments, I know some people's phones, for some reason, you don't get the $ where you can donate. And I don't know if it's Android versus iPhone or what it is. Yulia's not getting back to me, so she may be in the middle of her lives. Or the middle of an air raid, because she is in Ukraine right now. Ben wants to gift 5 of us memberships. Thank you, Ben. I just don't know how to do it. After you subscribed, the button said subscribe turned into a join button. Okay, no idea. No idea. All right, hold on. I'm trying to adjust the lighting again since the sun is setting. Oop, there we go. Hopefully that lighting's at least okay. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, sorry, Spencer. Yeah, sorry about the ads being a pain. Yeah, I mean, it certainly has been playing games with money lately on TikTok, and then of course they canceled me, which was really helpful too. Oh, she is live. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. You know, I would love to go to New Zealand. Oh God, you know the thing that's hard. It's hard. New Jersey Naruto was asking if I could extend my trip to Bali and go to New Zealand. I mean, the problem is, well, there's a couple problems. Okay, one. And this is something I had happen just working for myself, is just the lighting a little bit, or just the color a little bit too. Oop, nope, wrong one. Sorry, I was adjusting my white balance maybe. Let's see. Ooh, that's even, well, hang on. Oh, it's red, but it's not terrible. The problem is anyway, you thank her, let her know afterwards is great. Thank you. The problem with visiting New Zealand is it would be like another week. When you work for yourself, every week you travel is money you're not making. Now, that doesn't mean I couldn't work from New Zealand, which frankly, we could have some fun doing lives from New Zealand. So that's actually true. Right? I mean, that actually could be kind of fun, especially with my phone and stuff. And also my sister's taking care of my dog for a week. So I feel a little bit bad. You know what I mean? Because not for a week. She's taking care of the dog for 2 weeks that I'm in Asia, and I feel bad extending it to 3 weeks. But I will admit, being all the way down in Bali, awfully close to Australia, I've been, you know, and the only problem too is if I go to New Zealand, I've been wanting to go to New Zealand New Zealand, Australia too. Actually, and I've got family in Australia, we now know, thanks to Ancestry.com or whatever, or whichever website. And it's the only sort of family I found doing the DNA test where we were able to confirm it. Everybody else, I find, like, I know we've got a lot of our ancestors going back forever in Greece. Like, we've got really good family trees, which is not necessarily typical for Greece because, you know, it's in Greek. But their family does too, and we're able to actually connect it back to like a literally great-grandmother, either great-great-grandfather or probably great-great-great-grandfather in common, which is funny that we've got our trees back that far. But anyway, he's in Melbourne, and it would be fun to meet just because even though it's extended family, but it's family. It's kind of fun, you know, even though it goes back to the, 1850s, but in Greece, but still, in any case, but I've been dying to go there, to Australia and New Zealand both. Yeah. And I do have a friend in New Zealand. I forgot about that. An American friend who's been working there forever. David says, if you have premium, you can listen while driving and have Google Maps going and no ads. Oh, that's interesting. Mike says, Belgian defense chief, in our opinion, Admiral Hoffman visited Denmark to meet with a team of about 50 Belgian soldiers who are currently training Ukraine. Oh, that's nice. They're training the Ukrainians. That's good. No air raid. Yeah, no, she's live right now, which is fine. Yeah. Anyway, let me see. What are you in? You're not in New Zealand, are you? NJ Naruto? Trust me, once I get over there, I'm kind of like, I don't want to come back. Although I will say, the flight, you know what? The flight's a bigger problem because of the distance. That's really the problem, you know? Are there any lawsuits against TikTok? Not that I know of. The problem is, not the problem. You would need a class action lawsuit, basically. You're representing a class of people who are arbitrarily being sort of kicked off. Again, if TikTok isn't following its terms of service, which I don't think they are, then it gets interesting. But you'd have to have a lawyer willing to do a class action, and you'd have to have a class, meaning a large number of people who say I was affected and come forward, you know? Ben says, in the YouTube chat of your live, does the menu option, Android, it's 3 dots at the top of the shaft, have a gift settings option? Okay. Not on here. Well, here's the problem. I'm coming in through OBS. So let me go directly to my live on TikTok. I will sort of join the live by watching at least. Okay. All right, I'm going to join, skip, and then I'm going to pause so I'm not double dipping on my... Show your support for John Aravosis. Okay, that's me literally giving... Hold on a second. This is interesting. Oh, no, membership, yeah. Well, it's asking me to join as a member of my own site, which is kind of funny. Okay, I'm definitely not doing that. Report, I'm not doing that. Join, I'm not doing that. I don't think so. I don't think so. In the YouTube chat of your live, does the menu option at the top of the chat... I see the 3 dots. Oh. No, I've got moderation activity, timestamps. No, participants. What does that do? Community moderation, pop out chat and send feedback. No. A gift settings. There's no gift setting option. No. Bummer. That'd be nice if there were. Yeah, moderation activity. I can click that. What is that? I don't know what that just did. Moderation activity. Oh, no, don't show that. Moderation activity means if someone's booted, it tells you all the person was booted. But honestly, nobody ever gets booted. I could put on timestamps. Do you want the timestamps? I can leave the timestamps. I don't know that that really helps. Do you care? Yeah, I don't think so. If he doesn't have it on live on his account, it won't show. If he doesn't have it on and live on his account, I don't know what that means, but you let me know if you want me to leave the timestamps on. I could. Although you guys chat enough that it's not really a matter. Yeah, I don't know. I will be back on TikTok on Wednesday because I'm banned. I'm in communist Chinese gulag until Wednesday. That would just turn them on for you. Yeah. Oh, you can all turn on timestamp for yourselves? That's funny. Oh, so this might be turning stuff on for myself then. I don't think I'm actually looking at the settings for you guys. Yeah. I'm not looking at the settings for you guys. Or I mean, not, for my settings. No. Edit video. Let me look at edit video. Although that's my video setting, so that's not gonna. That's like my. Let me look, but that's my. Yeah, that's just my. Hang on here. Again, maybe Yulia knows. I can't imagine why I wouldn't have it. Giving at a fundraiser. We're not doing that because fundraisers are for specific. Pick your own nonprofit. Explore existing fundraisers. So that's clearly not it. Monetization is ads. Yep. That's it, guys. There's nothing. And I'll look at settings one more time, but there's nothing. Let me look at settings for one more time for the channel. All right. Advanced setting, not made for kids. Oh, interesting. To a Google Ads account. I don't know what the hell that means. Over to clip my content. Okay. Standard features. Everything's enabled. Advanced features enabled. I've got everything enabled. Yeah. I don't know what's. Yeah. Yeah. No, I've got everything turned on, guys. So I don't know. Sorry, I don't mean to keep belaboring this. Manage YouTube account. I can look at that too. But that's my account. Yeah. I have no idea, guys. Okay, I'm kind of bummed here. Because that would have been very nice. Nope. Ain't nothing here. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, and the 3 dots here, menu, switch account, select stream. Nope. Oh, interesting. All right, I'm going to be nice. It said ads were going to run shortly for some viewers. Did I want to skip them? I skipped them for you guys because you were complaining. So don't think I don't love you, whoever they were about to run for. You have to have gifting turned on. Okay. I can do a recap today. Sure. I'll do a recap today. Hang on, I'm gonna still keep looking for this. All right, I'm launching Discord again to see what link Manda sent me or whatever. The only thing is I don't know where to turn on the gifting, obviously. Oh, really? Muscles and Nursing, they haven't paid out his subscriptions for months? Wow. Oh, that's crazy. Wow. Wow. That's bad. I mean, that's really crazy. Wow. All right, sorry. Discord's starting up now. I've got a lot of things running in the back. Actually, let me turn off. I have my tax software running too. I was doing taxes this weekend. That was fun. Always terrifying to do those, especially when you work on your own like I do, because I think I literally have 15 sources of income this year. I mean, it's TikTok alone. Oh, let me tell you. Okay, if we're bitching about TikTok, let me tell you about TikTok alone. TikTok alone, I think, has like 5 different sources of income, because there's like gifts during the live. Subscriptions are separate. They used to have tips that you could give. They give me money based on my video views. That's 4. And there was a 5th. I can't recall. I think there was a 5th. Some of the income streams they give you 1099s for. Some of them they don't. 1099s are the, form you get telling how much money they paid you. They literally don't give you 1099s for all of your income. So you're sitting there going, okay, like what the hell? Like it was horrific trying to do the taxes with these guys. I mean, and again, like I studied calculus in high school. I'm good at math. I can't imagine most people on TikTok that are making any money at all. If you make money from a couple different streams, I guarantee you're gonna screw up. It's absolutely crazy. I'm looking at chat now from Manda Bear. You have to have gifting turned on. Okay, hold on. Sorry, guys, but this is very helpful. Like I said, last time you guys helped my nephew buy his computer this weekend, he literally called me up and said, that live was great tonight. I totally know which computer I'm getting, because he was going to buy a new MacBook, but wasn't sure which. And Saturday he called me. He bought the MacBook. Okay, become a channel member on YouTube. Channel membership on the main YouTube site and app allow you to purchase badges and access to greater perks. Buy a gift membership. Are only available on participating channels for purchase or redemption. Viewers can opt in within the live chat. What? Wait a minute. Gift are available on live streams and premieres on eligible channels. If gift memberships are available for the channel, you can buy gift membership during a live stream or premiere. But it says eligible channels, so who the hell knows? Maybe I have to have a certain number of subscribers or something? Less viewers to buy gifts. You must be watching a live stream or premiere on a channel with gifting turned on. I mean, gifting is turned on. Go to the eligible channel you want to buy. Join the channel stream. Within the live chat, click the $sign. Click membership giving. Well, see that it is turned on, guys. It says click membership giving. Select the number of viewers you want to gift memberships. Complete the transaction. It doesn't tell you how to participating channels. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. It's also weird that viewers have to opt in to be eligible for gift memberships. Once you have opted in, you are now eligible to receive gift memberships on any channel with gifting enabled. That's rather complicated. Why not just let people accept it, period, right? I mean, it seems a little weird. To opt in for gift memberships, you must be signed in with a YouTube channel that isn't a brand account. Check if you're on a brand account. So weird. It still doesn't tell me. It still doesn't tell me how yeah. Okay, I'm going back to you guys again. I'm going to stop reading. There's nothing on here that actually tells me how I do it. Steven asks or says, Ukraine posting bond. Oh, yeah. You and the bond thing. If Republicans let the money out of Congress, they would have the money to post the bond. Hence, they would have to pass the aid in order to post the bond. That's very funny. I mean, obviously, it would probably cause a problem. Well, Trump would love it if the Ukrainians said, "Hey, we'll give you $500 million if you post it." Trump would do it if there was a way. If there were a way to slip $500 million to Trump of that aid, he would do the aid in a minute. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any case, yeah, guys, I don't know how to turn it on. And I don't know whether it's certain accounts, but my account, like, I've got good subscriber numbers, like 17,000 subscribers, I think, which is, not subscribers, 17,000 followers, right? Which is good. Subscribers, we've got like 52 or 53, which isn't bad, right? Now, I wonder if Yulia has more subscribers than me. Maybe she hit some limit that you need, if it's even turned on for her. Oh, WC, on the 1099 thing, we're talking literally, last year there was maybe $10,000 from TikTok that they didn't give me a 1099 on. And I knew, because I went, that's crazy. I know I made more than this from TikTok. Because, when you work on your own, you have to keep track of how much money you make so you can pay the bills. And I knew, I said, I know I made like 10,000 or whatever off of, whether it was the gifts or I don't know what it was. And lo and behold, I then looked at my PayPal or somewhere else, and the TikTok money was there, but they didn't 1099 me. And I was like, are you kidding me? So then it required going to PayPal and pulling out all the TikTok money and trying to figure out which was new money and which was money already covered by the TikTok 1099. I mean, no, living hell. I finally figured it out, I think. Thank you, Donnie, for the gift. I assume it was a gift and not a question. If it was a question, obviously feel free to send it. Ben says, you have to opt in because they become reoccurring if not canceled after the first gifted month. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I'll have to look after the show and see, because you'd think the next obvious thing. Oh, that's interesting, Carly. That's bad. I can always try to put the setting at a lower. I don't think it lets me. I sort of try to tell it. I try to tell it to let YouTube pick the ads. To let YouTube. Let me look really quick and see what the options are. Basically, I tell it that YouTube can, do what it thinks is best, assuming that they're not idiots, right? And it's balanced but recommended. Hold on, let me see here. Choose how mid-rolls appear. I can put it on. I can put it on conservative, considering the money. You know what? I'll put it on conservative. The money isn't that much at this point, so it's not interrupting you guys as much. There, I put it on conservative for the ads, so it shouldn't interrupt you as much. It's not as much money for me, but it's not like I'm making a ton of money off the YouTube ads, to be honest. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know, guys. Let me see. We'll have to see. Gunther. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think they literally don't put 1099s for all the money you make, because they probably got, who knows why, but I have literally had to go and add up every penny, literally the subscription money that it comes in, the gift money, everything I get from TikTok separately that comes in each month. I've got to add it all up in a spreadsheet. It's horrific. Absolutely crazy. So it's crazy. Is it Smug? Okay, so Smug says, oh, hey, Marion. Smug says that the ads are being off for YouTube. Any case, I put it at the conservative ads now, so it shouldn't, so to speak, conservative. So it should be giving you fewer. I don't really like doing that because I do worry about income, but the ads aren't enough money that I think matters. If I get bigger viewership, then we have to worry about it. In any case, yes. So we were just talking about somehow there's a way that you can gift YouTube memberships or whatever. I think memberships like to our, to my feed, to each other, and Ben or somebody was willing to do it. And there's no way to even know how to turn. There's got to be some way to turn it on, and we don't even know how to turn it on. I'm gonna have to look after the show and see if there's some. Thank you, Marianne. Appreciate it. It is a nightmare. Well, the problem, Blue Ariel, but the problem is we're talking about taxes. The problem is, look at PayPal, right? I mean, PayPal has got this silly rule, and they tried to, the government tried to lower the amount. Like, once you make a certain amount on PayPal, they have to tell the government it's income. But that's bullshit, right? Like, PayPal, a lot of PayPal isn't income. Like, right? I mean, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, right? Like, I use PayPal and like Venmo and Cash App. I rarely, when I send money on Venmo and Cash App, it's never income. It's always money, to my nephew or to somebody else. It's just not. So like calling all the money on PayPal income is ridiculous. But so the way we do money nowadays is very confusing to even report it to the Internal Revenue Service, right? Because it's just not. I mean, in any case, it's very confusing. Anyway, yeah, so we will try to figure out after the show if there's any way. I don't know what the hell it is. Oh yeah, I know that. Mustard was letting me know about all the fake accounts out there. Yeah, I've reported all the fake accounts. They don't care. I've reported for 2 years now. I've been reporting the fake accounts to TikTok. They couldn't care less. It's like, okay. I mean, I reported an account the other day where the guy has a video up teaching you how to build a bomb. TikTok said there was no violation. I was like, okay, no violation. How to build a bomb from home, basically. Good. I'm a violator. Right? I violate. I'm bad. I have to be banned for a week, right, from my lives. But how to make a bomb, right? Anyway. Oh, it's terrible, Blue Ariel. Yeah. No, every season. Thank you, Carly. Mwah. Appreciate it. Every tax season is just like living. There is a very funny Oh, that's interesting. Ben says you have to have a membership level for $5 or less to be an eligible channel for giving. That's absolutely stupid. I mean, I can put a lower membership level. It's kind of annoying, but I can. Okay. Interesting. Well, are you sure? Are you sure about that, Ben? Because I can do it. Yeah, it's very, guys, it's even worse than that. I was telling you the other day, like it's, anyway, whatever. You have to be a member to gift a member. Okay, but we assumed that, or maybe we didn't. So by a member, you mean you'd already have to be a subscriber to my video to gift other subscribers, right? Gifting membership? Marty, can you somehow give me the link to that? Wait, well, does it give the details on what I have to do on my end? I'm pretty good. I mean, I really, this weekend I was very busy getting my taxes done. So now I'm at the stage where next weekend I've got to do a little bit more. And then I give them a week or two to kind of look at them again to catch any mistakes or anything because I don't want to screw it up. So, but they're not fun. No, taxes in this country are so difficult. But I also found, by the way, if you do it yourself, you learn how to do it. When you give it to an accountant, they screw it up. Every year my accountant screwed things up. Every year the accountant would, for example, just say, do you want to max out your retirement? And you'd say, sure. If I can afford it, you'd say, sure. What they don't tell you is, depending on how much goes into your retirement, it actually affects how much you pay in taxes in a reverse way sometimes. Like when you work for yourself, if you put too much into retirement, I was telling you guys this before, it could push your income down so low that you're no longer eligible, for example, for an Obamacare subsidy. So all of a sudden you lose $10,000 because you put too much money into your retirement, because it then lowers your income to poverty level. And when you're poverty level, you don't get Obamacare subsidies because you have to go on Medicare. I mean, sort of crazy stuff like this that I didn't learn until I did my own taxes. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That literally putting too much money into your retirement can limit the amount of benefits the government might give you. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Yeah. But the thing is, I keep detailed records. I literally spend a lot of time doing it. I never cheat. Like, I never lie. I will never lie on my taxes. So I could get things wrong, but I will never lie. And that's all you can do, But it still is very scary, though. It's very scary to me. The link in the general chat, I'll pull it up. There was a very funny thing. Our former Defense Secretary, Donald Rumsfeld, every year would, okay, pulling this up now. There we go. Okay, I've got it. I will read through this when we're done. I just pulled it up. But Rumsfeld every year would he would do his taxes on his own. He would then submit the taxes to the government, and he would write a letter and include the same letter every. I'm going to find this. Hold on a second. It is hilarious that he did it. But he was our former Secretary of Defense. Hang on a second. Oops. Hold on. Rumsfeld tax letter. Okay, here we go. This is the most wonderful, and this is real. I mean, it's total real. So the former Secretary of Defense every year would send this letter along with his taxes. Okay, listen to this. Internal Revenue Service, dear sir or madam, I have sent in our federal income tax and our gift tax returns for 2013. As in prior years, it is important for you to know that I have absolutely no idea whether our tax returns and our tax payments are accurate. I say that despite the fact that I am a college graduate and I try hard to make sure our tax returns are accurate. The tax code is so complex and the forms are so complicated that I know that I cannot have any confidence that I know what is being requested, and therefore I cannot and do not know, and I suspect a great many Americans cannot know, whether or not their tax returns are accurate. As in past years, I have spent more money than I wanted to spend to hire an accountant firm to prepare our tax returns, and I believe they are well qualified. This notice to alert you folks that I know that I do not know whether or not my tax returns are accurate, which is a sad commentary on government and our nation's capital. If you have questions, let me know, and I will ask our accountants to be in touch. I do hope that at some point in my lifetime, I am now in my 80s, so there are not many years left. The U.S. government will simplify the U.S. tax code so that those citizens who sincerely want to pay what they should are able to do it right and know that they have done it right. I should add that my wife of 59 years, also a college graduate, has signed our joint return, but she also knows that she does not have any idea whether or not our tax payments are accurate. And I believe he would send this letter every year, which is just, hilariously true, but it's true. And actually, I'm telling you, it was worse with an accountant, because with the accountant every year, I'd go through my taxes and catch little mistakes they'd make. And I'm like, no, either one year, the accountant didn't put, one year they put too much money. They claimed I made too much, which is bad. The other year they claimed I didn't make enough, which is even worse in a way, because then I was cheating the government. Every year I would catch mistakes and I was like, I hate you people. I just hate you people. No, the tax, I will tell you, it is not fun, but when you learn the tax software, it helps a lot. But even the tax software, TurboTax, very difficult. It's still the errors. It literally pulls up an error, goes, you needed to check one of these boxes. And it gives me 3 boxes. And I'm like, what are these boxes from? I have no idea. Anyway, just Google Rumsfeld IRS letter, or Rumsfeld, 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 IRS letter or tax letter. I'll give you his name, Rumsfeld. There we go. And it's wonderful. It's absolutely, but I love that. I'm letting you know I have no idea if my tax returns are even accurate. Oh my God. Yeah, no. I don't get the advanced credit because it's not worth it, because I have no idea how much I'm making and I have no idea what my deductions are going to, no idea, but I have no idea. I would rather get the credit afterwards than in advance, because if I get it in advance, I'd have to return it, right? What if I get it in advance and I spend it and then I You know what I mean? Like, I just do it after the fact. It's a pain because of money flow, but it makes life easier. And frankly, I don't spend the money if I don't get it in advance, which would worry me as well. Oh, it's only the last couple of years I even realized I could be eligible. Literally, previously, my accountants never even knew that I probably could have been eligible. Pisses me off because I guarantee you I could have been eligible before. They're idiots. What do you do? Accountants suck. I mean, I know some of you are nice. I forget if it was Melissa or one of you is or Flower Lady. One of you is an accountant, I think. You're nice. Or Dawn. Maybe you're the one, Dawn. Are you the one? You're good, I'm sure. But they were so bad. It's about volume. Yeah, that's it. No, I mean, every year there were mistakes. And the thing that bothered me was they never looked and thought about basically you making more money. They never said, well, okay, for example, setting up a solo 401k, if we're going to get complicated here. Or frankly, when I went to the United Nations, I figured out a way to make the UN pay for a Roth conversion. This is very complicated, but my accountant should have been able to figure that out. The accountant he does UN taxes for UN employees, never figured it out. On my own, I went through it and went, holy crap. Like, I can get them to basically pay for part of a Roth, and I did. And it was legal. It was totally legal, you know? So like, this is the stuff that drives me nuts. But like you said, accountants don't make money on the small returns. They've got to whip them out. So they, in any case, so I will read through that stuff and see if I have to set up a membership level below $5. If I do, I will. What do you do? I mean, we were trying to have all the membership levels be the same. Although, to be honest, too, I don't know what the best membership price level is for the lowest level. You know what I mean? Should I lower the $7.99 to $5.99 to $4.99? I don't know. Like, it's hard to know like what brings in more people. I just who knows? Because I was trying to have the other problem is I was trying to have. No matter what level you buy in at, you all can join us on the Discord for the Saturday show, etc. Because I don't want to make it like, the $4.99s can't, but the $7.99s can. It's like, come on. But any case, I may just have to set up a fourth level and give the same perks that the other levels get, and just set it up as a, if you need to, feel free to get the lower level. I'll look at it and see though if I can figure that out. 2 membership tiers, $6.99 and $12.99. Then what is it then? I don't know what it is, Lucas. Yeah. Well, Kevin, it's all economics. I mean, it's all supply and demand curve, right? Right? Is there a greater area under the curve? Like, if you get cheaper memberships, you get so many members that you make $1,000. If you have expensive memberships, do you get fewer members so you only make $750? Or do you get enough memberships that you make $1,200? I mean, it's all supply and demand curve, and who the hell knows, I mean, at some point you don't want to be too expensive for people anyway, because, but it's so confusing. It's, like I said, I have no idea if these prices are even, maybe they should be lower. I don't know. But anyway, that's funny, though. You've got the one YouTube Gremlins, that you've got the one channel that has higher memberships and they're still able to. Yeah, exactly. $4.99 members get half the video and hear every other word. I mean, I don't even know what, Yeah, I mute during my rants. I mute them for the $4.99. No, there's no way to even see you, Smug. Good to see you again. There's no way to even, I mean, it's, I pretty much, other than I'm trying to remember, right? The $24.99 members, I give the special, which I'm now doing more religiously. We're doing it next Sunday. The sort of special hangout for the $24.99s once a month. Whereas everybody else in general, I mean, everybody I've been doing, so I don't think I'm going to do anything different for the $4.99s. I may set up the $4.99 and see if it works, Yeah. No, thanks, Strange Brew. Yeah, I'll set up a $4.99 and see. Well, let me Google it more and see, but we'll try it and see if it even lets you do the member. Maybe it doesn't. Again, I'm going to make it so much more confusing, but what do you do? Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Really? Politico about France. I'm telling you, France wants to bring troops to Ukraine. Macron wants to do it, and it's fast. They pissed him off. I mean, they pissed him off. Let me pull this up. Which was, I think, the article I was reading that got TikTok to, trying to find this. Macron hopes for Ukraine-Russia ceasefire during the Paris Olympics. What, so the Russians can dig in even more? I mean, maybe. Let's see. I'm not seeing... Are you sure that's an article from today? The Macron one, Mike? Are you sure that's not an old article? Because I'm not seeing anything recent on that. Yeah, not seeing it. I mean, we know they're trying to do it anyway. But anyway. All right, guys. Basic economy. No carry-on. No seat assignment. Exactly. And I'll be a little bit ruder to you if you do a $4.99. No, let me do... once the show finishes tonight, which will be shortly. Actually, I will do as I said, I'll do a recap since you guys asked for one. I will do a little Googling and see if I can find some more info. And if I've got to create a $3.99 tier, I'll create a $3.99 tier. Or well, $4.99. I don't even know. Maybe the $4.99 tier doesn't get all the emojis. I don't know. I don't want to be like rude about that though. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll split up the emojis. It's not fun, but I can do that. And I can give like half the emojis to the $4.99 and then the $7.99 get the other half as well. So that way there's a little something. It's a small thing, but I still feel like I'd like to give people something if they pay more. You know what I mean? Just to be as a thank you. Well, that's true too, Jeffrey. That's a good point. See what the problem is? I don't know a lot of other people who do this. I mean, I know Yulia. That's about it. Like, I don't really know other people. I mean, well, I know some people who are huge, but David Pakman is ginormous. I don't even know if David's experience would help me. You know what I mean? Because he's like God. I mean, he's a wonderful guy. But I mean, he's like 2 million followers. Although maybe it means he does know it if he'd be willing to share. I kind of hate to ask people for their secret sauce if they know, but it would certainly be helpful. Yeah. Let me see. The goat's here. Oh, the goat is here. The goat is here. Oh, which category does the goat go to? That we'll have to see. I just want to make sure that if I set up a $4.99, although $4.99 might be a worthwhile test anyway to see, if it gets more people, it might, I mean, $3.99 would get even more. I just don't know. This is the same problem with the TikTok subscriptions, 9 ads on the live, and I told it to go fewer ads this time. It should be it's supposed to be conservative with the ads. Yeah, that's crazy, Carly. Is it still showing them? Because I told it to go conservative. Now, actually, though, we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. So 9 is still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ads would be every 15 minutes. Oh, I could ask the Midas guys. Yeah, you know what? I can ask the Midas guys. They're friends. I would think they would be helpful. I mean, just to like give advice on that, and they're good guys. That's a thing. I hadn't even thought of the Midas guys. That's a great idea. Yeah. David's wonderful. I love David, Danny. He annoys you. I think he's I mean, I love him. I just think he's not a friend. He's an online political friend, so to speak. But I really, I like David. I think he's brilliant and very good at what he does. Very smart, obviously, and very, David Pakman. Oh boy. And Gunther hasn't seen any ads. They don't like you, Gunther. 6 in the last 15 minutes. I've got it turned on conservative now, too. That's weird. I don't know. Ashastra, they must think you're worth gold or something. I don't know. God only knows why. And Alethea's only had 1 ad from the beginning. Somehow the algorithm is also picking who gets ads. And God knows. Well, let's face it, too. It depends on the ads they get are targeted to different people. Some of you are in their target audience. God knows why, right? I mean, that makes no sense. Any case, yeah, let me go. I will. Let me do the quick recap of the show, and then I will try to do a little reading and see if something says $4.99, because maybe that's the trigger point. And if it is, I'll set up a $4.99 and we can see. I just don't want it to be the wrong trigger point, and then I've set up a new category of subscription. You know what I mean? 9 ads. Okay, the system hates you, Carly. The system absolutely hates you. Like I told you, I've changed it. It's now on conservative, so it's not supposed to show as many ads at all. Yeah. You must, or you're gold. It loves you, I should say. It doesn't hate you. It thinks that's what I mean. It thinks you're worth gold. That's what it's doing. It's like, Carly, put the N in front of Carly. I don't know why, though. Sorry. I don't know. Non-members get more ads. I can't set that up, though. I wish. Not I wish. No, but Carly's a subscriber. So you'd think she'd get fewer if they were going to play that game, right? But yeah, I would have absolutely set it up so that subscribers don't get ads, but TikTok or fewer ads, they ought to do that at least. Have it be fewer ads. But the problem is TikTok loses money and they don't want to lose money, you know? Thanks, Jerry. Anyway, let me do the quick summary, guys, and then we'll get going, because we've been doing this an hour and 50 minutes already. So, all right, today's day 751 of Putin's 3-day special military operation. Putin's re-election was confirmed yesterday with 87% of the vote supporting Putin, allegedly, which is a lie. I then went through other dictators, which I don't think we have to repeat, but kind of funny. Just, my favorite, Ceausescu, in 1989, claimed 98.8% of voters wanted him to remain in power. And then those same voters a few months later shot him and his wife dead. So not so much, Mr. Ceausescu. The Kremlin said on Monday that the only way to protect the Russian territory, the occupied territory in Ukraine, from Ukrainian attacks was to create a buffer zone that would put Russian regions beyond the range of Ukrainian fire. Attacks continued in Belgorod this weekend by the Russian Legion, but we can't really get any firm answers on whether, how much successful they really were. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham is in Kyiv today. At a press conference, he claimed that 70% of Republicans in the Senate understand the need for aid for Ukraine, stressing that if Russian President Putin is not stopped, there will be a war between Russia and NATO. European Union foreign ministers finally agreed to allocate an additional 5 billion euros or $5.5 billion in defense assistance to Ukraine. Transnistria, basically, the Russians might be messing around, blowing up some helicopters and things, trying to make it look like the Ukrainians did it as a pretext for an eventual invasion. Maybe not yet, but eventual. Wall Street Journal had a big article on the Czech effort to get artillery shells for Ukraine, saying that the Czechs have found 800,000 shells. They've gotten funding for 300 of those 300,000, I should say, of the 800,000. And there's another 700,000 shells the Czechs can also get if they can get enough money. Ukraine is in danger of losing Robotine or however the hell you pronounce it, but one of the towns that it had recaptured in the last year. And if Ukraine loses that, it's in the Zaporizhia region. If Ukraine loses that, it could open things up for Russia to basically move further west and cut the Ukrainian sort of reconquest of its own lands in half, which would not be good. The British Defense Secretary was forced to abandon a visit to Ukraine's southern city of Odessa last week due to security reasons when the Russians found out his schedule. And the concern was that the Russians might try to basically blow him up like they apparently tried to do with the Greek prime minister. And that is it. 10 ads. Carly, you are freaking gold to these advertisers. That is crazy. God only knows why. I have no idea why. Yeah. Sorry. And like I told you, I even set it so it's a conservative ads now. It doesn't show many ads. And no one else is getting them except you. They've got you marked for some crazy reason. God only knows. Sorry. All right, guys. I am going to sign off. I will go check out the gift thing tonight or next, which you all told me about, so I appreciate that. And thank you. Thanks for joining. Thanks you for all the gifts and everything. I appreciate, especially with my TikTok gulag that I'm in until Wednesday. So I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll be back here tomorrow night. That 6 o'clock Eastern time, US. And then Wednesday, we'll start doing TikTok and YouTube again until YouTube cancels me again. But as always, let's try to push YouTube for the gifts and everything, and maybe that's safer. You know, I mean, YouTube can be a problem too, but they're not nearly as dangerous as TikTok out clearly, or arbitrary and capricious. Well, arbitrary and capricious is maybe being nice in terms of, maybe vicious is a better word for TikTok lately, but we'll see. Okay, guys, I'm going to sign off. Thank you all, and thank you for doing the dogging on the gifts. I will read through that page when we're done, and if setting up a lower category does it, I will do it by tomorrow. So, and then maybe tomorrow I'll figure out like I said, maybe I'll split the emojis in half so you guys get half the emojis at the lower level, which I'm fine with. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you all. Have a good night. Thanks, mods. Bye-bye. With this, I'm going to wait a second, too, because I never know if I'm 8 or 10 seconds goodbye. Actually, this one may not. I think we may have caught up on this one. Bye. Bye. Oh, I think you said Bali. Bye. All right. See you guys.